Welcome to Now You're Talking Real Talk. I'm here today with these wonderful ladies to talk about learning and development and growth. So important in life and in business, and especially here at ePerformax. Every time you embark on a new learning, it's opening up your mind to all the things that you need to solve puzzle-wise. Example, I remember I wanted to learn to be a photographer. And this was only a couple of years ago, not very long ago. And I had a friend who was a professional photographer, and I asked her if she would teach me. And she said, absolutely. So we actually went on a trip together, and she brought all her equipment, and I brought my camera. And so she starts telling me about how to become a professional photographer. She's just giving me all these things. And I remember being really excited and then being really like, oh no.
That's too many things.
Too much information. I don't like this at all. I remember thinking that. And then I remember thinking, this is how our employees feel when we're trying to teach them something new. They're enthusiastic and they're excited and they want to learn something. And then the way we teach them is discouraging. And so then they kind of maybe give up. So I learned from that experience, wait, I've got to apply this. I've got to apply what I'm doing here and feeling here to all the things that we're doing and learning and helping people learn and develop. Because every time you go to do something, whether you travel or whether you're trying to learn a new hobby or whether you're reading a book that, of some new concept, even if it's not, it could be about cooking, but you learn something from that you can apply to the rest of your life, which is where the whole integration thing comes in. We don't silo ourselves. And I actually love that. I love learning and development. How do you guys feel about learning and growth today?
I think that we've got a whole new list of things that we're training our people, and I think it's really exciting, compared to how it was back in the day. Now we've got, training for performance analysts, training for team leads and coaches in workforce. So there's a whole plethora of things that we can train our people on and new skills development. So it's really opening up a lot of doors.
Right, and we're not limited to classroom training anymore. There are
Right.
so many ways to do it, whether it's like a quick 5-minute video, something that you can access online, an article they can read. So there's so much going on in learning and development that we can all learn from that.
And even from the clubs.
Yes.
That's true, that's true.
It's really engaging our employees, and I'm part of the club.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to be more active there. Geeks, EP Geeks United.
I love that.
Yeah, because we're gamers.
So here's an important point you just brought up. Here we are as women. We got to take care of our families, right? We have to take care of our business, our things at the office, our employees. What about ourselves, right? Yeah. Do we have time to join a club? Do we have time to do the things we love to do?
Correct. Yeah, I think one of the things that I was just thinking when I first because you mentioned something about personal development and growth, right? We're talking about how it's challenging sometimes for women to try and achieve that for themselves. You're saying that we do a lot of stuff, but what about taking care of ourselves? I remember when I don't have kids yet, but I am married, and sometimes I think when I plan stuff for myself, I have to consult my husband first. And I'm not sure if that is the same with men. If they want to do something for themselves, do they feel the need to consult their women?
They better.
Yeah.
No.
It's true.
Right?
I'm
It's
calling
true.
my husband right now. You better.
Right? But I find that because when I joined ePerformax, I didn't want to join, working in a call center company. It's not one of my, dreams. But when I joined ePerformax, I got attracted to the win-win-win, model of our organization, and I said that I think this is a good company to just, to make home in. And when I planned to move up I consulted my husband. And the same thing that you did, Teresa, with your daughter, that you had her have a fake computer to play with, and you're integrating your daughter to your work. That's what I did with my husband.
You
So
got him a fake computer.
No. When I was being trained as a performance analyst, I had him review the behaviors and stuff, so he can understand what I'm doing in the office. And then he learns to to value what I'm doing in the office, and it made it easier for me. I didn't have to struggle. I've received, or I've heard a lot of feedbacks from our other officers saying that they find it difficult because they have to go home. They can't finish their stuff because their family won't understand what they're doing in the office.
That's
and I
very
think
true.
making them understand what we're doing here can help us.
Educating the family.
Yes.
I agree with that.
And have time for our personal development and growth, so we don't feel guilty that we're spending more time away from it.
I want to share something really, really personal. Every time that I would impart a very important lesson to my son, I would always use the coaching model. Always. Yeah. When I started working here in EP, my son was only 4, I think, or 5. So during his development years, that's when I started coaching him on, how to make friends at school, how to make sure that you observe your manners, why is it important. And so using the PMAX model was very, very useful for me.
That's good. Did he get a scorecard from you?
No. Mine is the signature.
I'd have to share this too. So I use how we use our SEGs in production to reward my daughter for her grades. So if you reach this, it works. If you reach this, then you'll get this reward, and so on. It actually works.
It does work.
I totally agree with all of you. I mean, my sister has special needs, and before, we're really having a hard time talking to her. We're becoming impatient. We cannot meet halfway. And then when I started using the coaching model, it became more interesting because we were able to get what she really needs, understand her. Even the psychiatrist, he wanted me to give him pointers on how I did it, so he can use it to his other patients.
That is so cool.
That really helped us and our family to understand her better.
Maybe we should enroll the psychiatrist in training.
Yeah, why not?
Maybe I can.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I too have used coaching at home. It's a very effective model, not only with children, but your husbands and partners, and maybe even your mom and dads.
It's easier to negotiate.
Got me in trouble. Because my partner works for ePerformax.
Wow.
And he said, don't you do
Coach
the
me.
PMAX model on me.
No coaching me. Yeah, so does my husband. He says, don't coach me. I'm like, but coaching is necessary.
It's true.
It helps. It does help. And the giraffe. Someone mentioned giraffe. Was that you?
I
also?
did. So I incorporated coach and giraffe because I'm a high D. So I'm very passionate towards what I say and expressing my emotions. But at the same time, when I used coaching with a combination of giraffe, I tend to get more attention because I am relaxed and people can understand me better, so which is good.
I think that is a really excellent point too. Giraffe and women, all right? So as women, when we're emotional, we're perceived as the big B, right?
Yeah.
All right, but it's just our passion. It's our passion coming through. And we're really just being the big D instead of the big B.
Or the big J.
Or the big J.
Jackal.
I'm just trying not to be the big J. Okay, I try to be the big giraffe. But I think learning that skill was one of my turning points too. You mentioned that, right? What are some of the things that influenced me? And that's why I brought it to ePerformax, because I learned how important it was to really mind your words. That even though you might be passionate about something, you have to think about how that passion is translating to someone else. And as women, I think we are more passionate. about things, and that's where all that emotion floods into it. And compare that same discussion to a man that is also passionate, and we just have ours amped up too much sometimes. And so, looking at the giraffe component of it, it helps us become more, I'd say, what's the word, consistent, and you said it calms things down so that people will listen.
Yes.
It's hard to listen when someone's too passionate,
Correct.
right? So I think that's another good lesson for us.
Yeah, I think because when you're too passionate about what you're talking about, you sound, disagreeable, or sometimes you sound disagreeable. And I think if you apply, and I've done it so many times, even at home with my husband, if you apply giraffe with your conversation, you become, you can disagree without sounding disagreeable.
That's
I think
true.
your point is accepted and not rejected right away because you sound more objective, I think, or level-headed if you apply giraffe.
That's true. Because sometimes when you're too passionate about whatever it is, whatever point it is that you're trying to make, particularly if people feel that you're talking about them or you're referring to them, sometimes they feel defensive, and so the message is lost, right? What
Absolutely.
you're triggering is the emotion instead of allowing your message to register.
Or to have
Yes.
a conversation and be able to have a productive.
That's
Yes.
true, exactly.
And I'd say, with all of the trainings that we've had in EP, I think what's really important that I've learned here is that you really have to have the genuine intent to care about your people and the employees. And I'm not just saying it because my people are watching, but I think if you are genuinely caring for your employees, it will come through. It will come out during your conversations, and equipping yourself with all the learnings, all the trainings that we've had on love, on coach, on giraffe. I think it will really be successful, and it's going to be helpful, and you will really find yourself in a more fruitful, more fulfilling conversation.
More relaxed.
More relaxed.
More happy with yourself, right? Yeah.
Don't feel bad.
So to
That's
connect
right.
to what you said, and you know how leaders evolve, and I know you're still evolving, you're learning, you have the gift of
Definitely.
teaching. So I'm curious to know, what are the opportunities, or maybe if you want to learn more, there's room for growth. Do you feel like you still want to learn, and what would that be? In what area?
What area do I want to learn
Yeah.
more about? That's a very good question. I think right now I'm just fascinated by the idea of learning through gaming. And I'm really, really very, very interested in the fact that you guys all game so much. I mean, my son does. He's a big gamer, and especially social gaming. I think that's just so fascinating to look at how the world's changed, and that we, all right, enjoy gaming. I do. I don't get it. I haven't done Mobile Legends or League of Legends. So I'm thinking about it. I'm going to get some training, but but I really, really think that there's a whole new. I mean, I'm loving that we work in an organization where we have the young people to guide us, and I'm learning from them and learning what they are intrigued by and how that's helping us grow and develop. I think the millennials and that generation behind that, what's the one? Right?
Gen Z.
Gen Z. I think they have so much to teach us. And so I'm enjoying right now learning from them and trying to be open-minded. If I do anything differently, it's trying not to be stuck in what I know and what I've grown up with, and look at what they're doing and how they're doing it. And I'm thinking, that is so cool. And what can we learn from that, and how can we use it?
It's really interesting because most of the people that I see who are really good at gaming, or at least the games that I play with them on, are hardworking.
Yes.
And very smart.
And very persistent.
Yes.
And resilient.
And open to feedback, especially my
Yes.
teammates. Those who are in my
Yes.
team are very, very perceptive or open to feedback, and they give feedback right away too.
Yeah.
They're not fazed by the fact that I'm the program director.
Yes. And I love that.
And
I love
my
that.
teammates are like the workforce analyst in the same program, but he would be like, no, you can't go there. Next time, this is what you need to do. And you buy this item, okay? And then you stay behind me. Okay, boss.
We've covered a lot of subjects today. I think this was really awesome, you guys. It's so nice to hear from you and to know that, we are good role models, I think, for a lot of people in our organization, but especially women. And it's so exciting to celebrate, women.
Thank you. Thank you for being a good role model for us.
Well, and thank you for being a good role model for me. Like I said, I learn as much from you as you learn from me, and I think that's the way it needs to be. As I get older, I really appreciate what people that are younger than me are doing and thinking. It was the opposite. When I was younger, I was looking up to those that, had been there, done that. Now I'm like, I've been there and done that too much. Now I want to see what new, fresh ideas there are. So we learn from each other, and that's what makes it so beautiful. And that's what I love being with you guys. I love you guys so much, and I love this company. And so I want to keep doing this. I want to keep talking. You guys good with that? Should we keep doing this? Yeah, okay.
We'd love to have the gamers.
We'll have the gamers on. Maybe we'll even invite men sometime. What do you think?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. We can talk about that. Yeah, we'll think about that one.
We'll think about it.
So maybe
But,
since we're kind of wrapping the discussion up, maybe you can let us know if you have any advice for the next generation of female leaders.
Well, that's a really good ending point, I would say. The advice is, again, to reiterate, be open and listen. Yes, we will learn from them, but they need to continue to learn from us. When I was young, I probably said a lot. Oh, they're so old, they don't understand, they don't get it. But there's years and years of failure. Okay, and think about it, it's the failures that teach us. So until you've lived those failures, you really don't have the full depth and breadth of experience that someone like me, who has lived a lot of failures, can share. So just be open, ask for advice. What would you do in this situation, or how'd you deal with this? Or just like we've been doing today, let's ask each other, what's going on. So I would say my best advice to not just women, but to everyone, is to be open-minded, to listen, to ask questions, be curious, right? And to women, I just want to say, believe in yourself. You're not equal to men, and you don't want to be equal to men, right? Mm-hmm. If you believe in your heart and in your mind that you have value and that you have something to add to this environment, to your business, to your family, to your children, then you will add it. If you speak negative thoughts to yourself, those negative thoughts will become who you are. You are what you think. And that idea of getting up in the morning and looking in the mirror and saying, I'm beautiful, I'm smart, I can do this, I'm a good leader, you can train your brain. And you will start to act exactly as you put in your brain. So I know all of you have already done that, because I can tell you have that confidence, you have that passion, and that you're the bright stars in our organization, and I love that. And I appreciate you sharing with the rest of our team today. But wouldn't you agree that's what we have to do? The teams have to we have to help them see their value, and they have to see their value. And so to all of you women, that is the key.
And we just want to bring back the gratitude, because we would not have experienced all this if we were not in ePerformax.
Well, thank you.
That I'm not saying this all because I'm in front of the president and CEO, but really I've learned that this is where I've grown, and I never had this confidence 14 years ago. Never would have had this interview with you, but now it's because maybe I listened, but I didn't know it then, and now that you've just summarized it, it just validates what I've learned over the years, so thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we've been talking so much about learning and growth. I'd love to hear from you as to what one key takeaway do you have today for our conversation?
Well, one of the things that I learned from this conversation is that you don't allow, or you don't consider being a woman as a hindrance to your personal growth. You just have to push through your failures until you find your place.
And learn from them, right?
Yes.
One thing that I learned about this conversation is that every individual, men or women, are unique in their own ways, and don't let other people think otherwise.
Unique is good.
Yes.
I am inspired by this conversation to continue to be a better version of myself tomorrow than I was yesterday.
Wow, I love that.
What I've learned, and I've actually validated today, that leaders are learners, and I'm recommitting to continuous learning or Kaizen.
I like that. Leaders are learners.
I think this conversation reinforced, what I've thought of for a while, which is that I shouldn't be comparing myself to men. At the end of the day, I should be my own measuring stick when it comes to my learning and development.
Agree.
My takeaway is really simple. It's expect and accept criticism and feedback from others, and that's how we'll grow and learn as leaders and as human beings in general.
Yes.
I think for me it would be to not be afraid to ask for help. Because we are strong, but we are meant to not be alone, so we can rely on other people too.
Oh, I love that. Perfect. So that concludes this session of Now You're Talking Real Talk. It was great sort of exploring the ideas of learning, growth, and development, and how, as an organization, we need to stay focused on that. Performance is critical, and the only way for us to continue to be the best performing company is to constantly be looking at how can we grow, how can we continue to improve. So thanks for tuning in.